Good evening, children. I hope everyone are doing fine. Let us continue with the chapter 14, that is natural resources. The topic is soil. So let us learn more about soil in today's class. So let's begin. Coming to the definition of soil. So how do you define soil? You're all familiar with different types of soil. You might have experienced the texture of the soil, isn't it? So, how do you define soil? So, it is a part of earth that consists of degraded rocks and decaying organic matter, isn't it? So, you know how the formation of soil occurs. You have already learnt about this in your primary classes, isn't it? So, it consists of degraded rocks, okay, and also it consists of decaying organic matter. Coming to formation of soil, let's have a quick recap on this because you have already studied in your primary classes, right? So how does soil form? So it is formed by the process of weathering of rocks. So what do you mean by weathering of rocks? So in this process, what happens is the bigger rocks will break into pieces, into smaller rocks, and finally into such smaller parts that they're gonna form soil. And this takes lot of time, okay, it consumes lot of years to form a soil. So you can see there is a big rock, that is number one. You can see number one picture, that this rock is collecting water, okay, in its crack. So when there is a crack in the rock, what happens in between that crack? If there is a rain, what happens? The rainwater will store in that crack, okay. And what happens in the winter or in a cold condition? This water will freeze up, okay, and it is going to expand the space between the rocks and it will create more crack between the rock, okay. And now ice thaws, that contracts and water gets deeper into the crack again. So with so much of pressure of water, so it already freezed, and with that pressure what happens? It create more space, and again the water will be stored in between the rocks, and this process will be repeated over the period of time. So this repeated expansion and contraction will cause further cracks till the rock is getting splitted up, okay. So this overall process is said to be formation of soil. So coming to what are all the factors that are responsible for weathering, okay. So it includes physical factors and also biological process, right? So let us see what is this physical factors as well as biological factors. Coming to physical factors, it includes temperature, wind, rainwater. All these factors helps in the process of weathering of rocks, okay. It will seep inside the rocks and it cause cracks in them, right? So what are the biological process? So biological process like lichens, okay, lichens that grow on the rocks, it will secrete certain acids. So you know what is lichens, right? So this grow on the layer of the rock, surface of the rock, and it is going to secrete some acid, okay. So which is going to degrade by that acid will penetrate into the rocks with the help of their roots, and there appears a cracks in the rock. So this also one of the biological factor which helps in the process of weathering of rocks. Coming to soil profile, so this also you already learnt in previous classes, right? So you can see soil profile, you can observe the picture. So we are going to study different layers which make soil, okay. Actually the soil is divided into different layers, that is A horizon, B horizon, C horizon and D horizon, okay. What do you mean by A, B, C, D? So these are all the different layers which is named as horizon, okay. So coming to first layer, that is A horizon, it is the top soil we call it as. So we know what is top soil, right? Which will be very rich in humus. What do you mean by humus? It consists of dead and decaying matter of plant waste as well as animal waste, which will be very nutrient for the plants to grow, okay. So topsoil is more important for cultivation of crops, isn't it? Because it consists of lot of humus, and roots of the plants are embedded in this layer. So where exactly the root will be inside this layer, that is A horizon. Coming to B horizon, this layer is composed of minerals. So the sufficient minerals which is required for the plants will be stored in this layer, that is B horizon, which consists of minerals. Okay, and also it consists of few particles of sand also. Okay, and sand particles are loosely arranged so that it will trap air as well as water, isn't it? So coming to C horizon, this layer consists of unconsolidated parent material. Okay, it doesn't have any organic matter. Okay, and coming to D horizon, it consists of rocks. You see small small stone particles. So this layer we call it as D horizon. So this is about soil profile, very important topic you need to remember. Coming to composition of soil. So what does soil consist of? If I ask composition of air, you will be telling so and so percentage of gas is present in the air. Like same way, even we have composition of soil. We see 45% of mineral matter and 5% of organic matter and 25% of air is trapped in the soil and 25% of water. So maximum is mineral matter. Okay, it consists of 45% of mineral matter. This is the composition of soil. Soil consists of four types of rock particles which differ in size, look and texture. If you touch the soil, you can feel the texture, right? Okay, and also it look different. So different soil have different appearance. The sizes, the particle size will be varying. You will see in the next slide. Okay, and it consists of gravel, sand particles, silt particles and also clay particles. So this is about the composition of soil. So coming to the particles. So as I said, it consists of gravel, sand, silt, clay. Okay, let us see their size. And coming to first one, that is gravel. Okay, these are larger particles which can be picked up by hand. So that means it is visible to eye. Okay, the particle size of gravel will be greater than 2 in diameter. If you check the diameter of one gravel, it has approx 2 diameter. Okay, coming to sand particles, they are coarse to touch and have particle size ranging from 0.05 to 2.00 So they can be seen with naked eyes. So this is also visible, sand particles, right? Silt particles. So these soil particles have particles with size less than 0.005 So this is not at all visible. Okay. And coming to clay particles, these are the smallest soil particles with the size less than 0.005 So it is really not visible. Compared to silt particles, it is also like less than 0.005 You can see the size in the picture. So gravel easily you can pick by hand. Even sand also it is visible. Silt is not visible and also clay particles is not at all visible. Okay. So coming to types of soil. So sorry, there's a space between E and S. Okay, ignore that. So types of soil. So there are three types of soil since you are learning from primary classes, that is sandy soil, clay soil and loamy soil. What do you mean by sandy soil? The soil contains a large amount of sand particles and a small quantity of silt and also clay. So this sandy soil consists of large amount of sand particles. Okay, sand particles will be more. That is the reason it is called as sandy soil, and only few amount of silt as well as clay particles will be present. Since the sand particles have more space, interparticle space, okay, it can this sandy soil cannot hold much water because the soil particles have maximum difference where the easily the water can move, it can't hold much water. Coming to clay soil, the soil contains clay particles and a small quantity of humus as well as silt. Okay, it is a combination of humus as well as silt. So clay soil particles are tightly packed, so that's the reason it can't hold hair. Okay, the hair gap won't be there between the particles. It can only hold water. Okay, because the particle doesn't the space between particles is very tight, so that it can hold the water but it can't trap the hair. Okay, coming to loamy soil, it contains silt, sand as well as humus. Okay, so it has a very good water holding capacity and allows aeration of roots. Okay, what does loamy soil is composed of? It contains silt, sand, as well as humus. Okay, and very good water holding capacity, and also it allows aeration of roots. So mainly loamy soil is used for most of the crops because of their advantageous factors. Okay, because it can hold water, and it also allows air, isn't it? Coming to soil erosion, so it is the removal of top layer of soil by wind, water, etc. So the top soil will vanishes off due to wind, water, rain. Okay, that is said to be soil erosion. The top soil get eroded. Okay, so what are the causes of this soil erosion? So soil erosion ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? What are the causes? Okay, so winds will be more, heavy rains and improper farming. Okay, human actions like expansion of urban sector, dust storms, frequent floods. Okay, these are all the causes of soil erosion. And what are the effects of soil erosion? So loss of fertile soil, because the top soil will vanishes off, and landslides, flood, and you can see drought conditions, and silting of water reservoirs. Okay, by the way, how can we prevent of soil erosion? So by making a practice of terrace farming and wind breaks, proper drainage canals around the fields, so that it collects all the water instead of soil erosion. And you can see in the picture. Okay, so making strong embankments along river banks. So these are all the prevention methods for soil erosion. Okay, so this is the very interesting topic. So we studied about air, water. Now we have studied about soil. Hope you guys have understood. See you all. Have a good day.